Chelsea 4, Brighton 2, and honestly, I sometimes wish that I wasn't a Man United fan only because it prevents me from truly admiring some of our rivals play good football. It makes me so bitter and jealous to see how good Chelsea Football Club are in attack. They have put on an absolute clinic this season, not just in today's game, obviously against Wolves in that second half, scoring 6 goals away from home to their better rivals West Ham, 3-0, and now again against Brighton at home, despite going 1-0 down, quickly responding with 4 goals in the first half. And 2 of the major opportunities that fell to Cole Palmer could have made it 6. The offside goal that he scored, with Jackson being very selfless, I believe, and then obviously hitting the post on the one where he was actually onside. Cole Palmer could have had 5 goals in that half of football, if we're being honest. Maybe 6, if you want to be generous. Which is absolutely insane. It is ridiculous. And even though he was quite obviously at the epicenter of everything good for Chelsea Football Club today, it wasn't just about him. Nico Jackson was sensational. And he's been sensational pretty much the whole season for Chelsea, barring maybe the Man City game. Yes, he misses a lot of chances, and yes, he gets bantered a lot for that. But when you look at the amount of goals he's scoring and what he's contributed to Chelsea, he's actually not as bad as people make out. Nico Jackson is actually a pretty decent player for Chelsea. And then you couple that with the fact that they've now got the likes of Neto, they've now got the likes of Sancho as options, and Kunku, who wasn't even playing today, if I'm not mistaken. It's insane. And on Jadon Sancho, I just want to talk about Jadon Sancho because I saw Manchester United fans actually celebrating when he went to Chelsea as if it was a good thing. And I'm thinking to myself, we have got to have one of the most idiotic fan bases, because for me, it was pretty clear that Jadon Sancho would thrive in a possession-based system, especially if the right profile of players were around him. What do I mean by that? If you look at Chelsea's team currently, Nico Jackson is a player who's known for his hold-up. He's not necessarily known for being a prolific goal-scoring number 9. What he's actually known for is his hold-up and his link-up, bringing other people into play, getting the balls to feet, holding it up, and then giving it to someone else, and then running into space. Pass and move. That is the type of player that Jadon Sancho needs to play with. So it's no surprise that he is balling out at Chelsea, especially when you couple the fact that they've got Cole Palmer in that team. They've got Nkunku, who seems to be linking up well with Sancho. They've got Pedro Neto, Madueke. They've got so many players who are not quote-unquote direct players. Players who don't try to run themselves into blind alleys like certain wingers at Manchester United, but are actually intelligent enough to use the fact that they have teammates and realize that it's okay to retain possession sometimes and actually just pass it to someone else, then run into space and try to make things happen that way. He's an intelligent footballer, and on top of that, he's a very technically sound footballer. He's not going to lose the ball in compromising situations that often. So he is a net positive for Chelsea, and it was so obvious that Jadon Sancho would be a good signing for Chelsea, for people who actually understand football. It's only the Manchester United fans who are fans of Rashford, fans of Garnacho, fans of Bruno, fans of these very direct players who don't really know how to look after the ball, who are happy to see Jadon Sancho go because they're allergic to good technical footballers. And it absolutely makes my blood boil watching Jadon Sancho ball out for Chelsea because he should be playing in a red shirt. End of story. So yeah, if I haven't made it clear enough, I'm very jealous of Chelsea. The only aspect of Chelsea that I'm not jealous of is their defense. I think they have massive issues in that goalkeeping position. And I think today's game was a clinic on how not to play out from the back from both teams, both Brighton and Chelsea, because they both made mistakes trying to play out from the back and they both didn't really look very sound when it came to that, especially Brighton, but Chelsea as well. I think Chelsea's issue is that defense. I think if it wasn't for their defense and also their issues at board level between Ighbali and Clearlake, I would be praising this Chelsea team a lot more and being a lot more optimistic about their future and saying things like, if I was a Chelsea fan, I would be really happy. But I can't sit here and lie and pretend like my opinion has changed based on a few games. I still am not convinced by Chelsea, especially when you look at the game against Palace, the game against Bournemouth, and a couple of other games this season, obviously the Man City one being the most notable, right? Chelsea are going to be an up and down team, it seems. One week they're going to score 3 goals and keep a clean sheet, and then the next week they're going to be conceding 3 goals. That's what it looks like. That's the type of season we're in for Chelsea, and it's mainly because of the lack of stability in that defense, because even their midfield looks better this season. I can't even fault Chelsea's midfield too much because Caicedo's look good. Enzo, different story, but Caicedo's look good. And again, we'll just have to wait and see, man. It is still early in the season. So again, my opinion of Chelsea hasn't changed completely, but I'm definitely very jealous of their attack. 100%. I think they are one of the scarier teams when it comes to that front three. And you know what's funny? Is I saw people getting outraged by the fact that Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer were getting a lot of praise. And I think it was the BBC or Sky Sports or one of these mainstream media outlets that put out a tweet basically saying that Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer might be the best duo in the Premier League. And when I first saw it, I also laughed. I was like, haha, funny, clickbait, outrage bait, whatever. But now I'm thinking, like, why not? Why can't someone make that argument? I mean, I don't agree with it. I don't think Nicholas Jackson and Cole Palmer are the best, but there definitely is a debate to be had. There's a conversation to be had, especially about Cole Palmer specifically. I got laughed at last season for comparing Cole Palmer to Phil Foden. And when you compare recent performances, both when you look at Phil Foden's performances at the Euros for England and his recent performances for Man City, I think Cole Palmer is clear. Not just in terms of the eye test, but also in terms of the GA. What Cole Palmer is bringing in terms of tangible things that you can measure to his team right here, right now, is better than what Phil Foden is doing right here, right now. Maybe over the past few seasons, you could say Foden has been better, especially when Palmer wasn't really starting at Man City and couldn't really break into the team. There was no evidence that Cole Palmer was better back then. But now that we've seen Cole Palmer play a full season in the Premier League, plus a few games this season, and there hasn't really been much of a drop-off, if we're being honest, I think there's a conversation to be had there, an uncomfortable conversation about Cole Palmer and where he stands as far as the English talents are concerned. And I think a lot of rival fans, Man United fans, Man City fans, Liverpool fans, there's a lot of rival fans that I see who don't want to give Cole Palmer the respect he deserves. And I'm not one of them. I am not one of them. As much as I don't like Chelsea, I'm not going to let it blind me from the truth. And I'm not going to let my red-tinted glasses fool me so much that I can't acknowledge what a remarkable talent this guy is. He's up there, man. So I think people are justified to have their own opinions and whatever, but the outrage around Chelsea's attack is confusing to me because they genuinely are good. Chelsea have a lot of talented players in their attack, and the issue was never their attack, in my opinion. It was always the midfield, it was always the defense, and it was always the issues behind the scenes with Clearlake and Igbali and Bowley. I mean, they've got Neto, they've got Palmer, they've got Sancho, they've got, it actually makes me sick to say that they've got Jadon Sancho. I still can't believe that, by the way. They've got Jackson. They've got Madueke. I won't count Mudryk because any serious person is not going to count Mudryk. He's been cheeks. But they've got Jackson as well, right? They've got an attack full of players that I would take in a heartbeat at Manchester United. And it's not necessarily because I believe these players are these remarkable generational talents. No, it's their profile. The fact that they're all intelligent. The fact that they all know how to retain possession. I cannot stand players who do not respect the football in the final third and just treat it like it's a hot potato. And Manchester United have had players like that for a long time. And it's an absolute eyesore. So as much as it pains me to say it, Chelsea have got a good attack. And that's the one aspect that I will defend Chelsea Football Club on, even though I'm not a Chelsea fan. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments down below. It's been your boy Triple M. Chelsea looking really good. Of course, it is just the 3 games. The Palace game, the Wolves game. I mean, not the Palace game. The Palace game, they actually looked awful. The Wolves game, the West Ham game, and now the Brighton game where Chelsea have looked really, really good. But their other performances, a little bit questionable. So, Chelsea still have a lot to prove as far as I'm concerned. But they're showing signs of being a very dangerous team. And I would love to know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video if you want to support the channel. Subscribe if you are new. Otherwise, enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening. It's been your boy Triple M. Peace!